When Dana Marges didn't make it as an actor,
I'm having a herpes outbreak, but you never know it.
he became passionate about teaching.
Theater has the power to transform the audience.
And discovered
I kick this trash can.
he wasn't very good at that either.
I've been praying for more racial understanding, but I still get anxious around ethnics.
Just because they're Latinos doesn't make them gangbangers. Got it?
We're just coming together as a class.
Is he acting?
No, he's not that good.
Oh, how did you create the character? Like, how did it go from that early, the name on the script to?
Well, I think just by I talked to Andy, the director. I think there's a tiny bit of the Andy's also the writer. With Pam Brady. I think there's a tiny bit of Andy in the character, and I've known a lot. I went to drama school, and I'm from that kind of background, so I knew a lot of people who are very directors and actors, but certainly directors who are very. Certainly in the whole industry, especially in the theatre, there's lots of people who are very, very emotionally demonstrative, in a way that you won't find if you like in civilian life, in office workers, they're because they're able to be over demonstrative. They feel everything in extreme ways. They're either very depressed about something or over elated about something.
As Dan, totally. But you never make it not realistic, which is the key. I mean, I wanted to go, talk about that first, but also your training, going back, and then Peter Sellers and all the other people who inspired you, and the goons and those.
That's right.
You bring him to such life that the audience I was with, total mixture of people, were so involved. They were laughing, but the dinner scene, everybody became very quiet.
Yeah. Well, I think because I think with there's comedy where you can make people laugh,
right?
And with a good gag or whatever. But I think to sustain something long enough, you have to do that thing of trying to make people laugh and feel something at the same time, and give the comedy a kind of integrity. And you can. And Andy, the director, was very good with that, which is like, I'd say something in a way that worked in a funny way. He'd say okay, but he said you really got to really believe what you're saying, because otherwise people ultimately will know that it's just it's like a prolonged sketch, and it's something that would work for like 15 minutes maybe maximum. So you really have to commit there and believe it, and I kind of and respect the characters. And I sort of felt like I wanted to do that. I despite his faults, despite his flaws, I like him.
You have to, right? You have to love him, right?
And I had to do that when I'm performing him, to give him that sort of integrity and really believe it. Make it. You can be big. I mean, actually, in a lot of movies, it's very difficult to be able to play a big part. But in this, because the guy's from that background, you can do a big performance because he's a big character, and those people exist.
And he does. Yeah. Did it change much in the early days of doing it, like when you were working at it? Was there stuff that isn't in it that you were working?
Sure, we'd have to keep working on it. Andy was very very specific about how it should be done. He didn't want it overly. He didn't want it to be a big camp, sort of like gay thing. Yeah. Because it would have been. We've sort of seen that kind of. Sort of over effeminate, but he wanted to have that kind of still have that theatrical element to it. Right. So it was kind of like making it big, but not super camp. So there's a little bit of that in there, and making, but mostly making him demonstrative and making him passionate. So he wasn't just like a caricature, but that sort of developed in a kind of way in rehearsals.
Sure. And he has to inspire the kids, which he does.
Yeah, you've got to believe that he has to believe what he's saying.
How is it working with all the younger actors?
Great. In fact, two of them have been on Broadway. Skylar and Phoebe.
Yeah, Spring Awakening.
Spring Awakening did play the two kind of the most sort of goody two shoes of my students.
Which is really funny because the play that they're in on Broadway, the musical, would have fit. Dana would probably he could create that there.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting because I'm sure, but they were great kids to work with and smart. They could. In fact, they on a couple of occasions Skylar especially actually came. I mean, Skylar came up to me and said, "Hey, he said, why don't you do this?" And I was like, "How old are you?" He was like, "I'm 19." So, what do you want me to do? And then I realized, oh my God, he's right. And afterwards, I'd say, hey, have you got any ideas about the way I should do this? So it just shows you that you can learn something from everyone. You know?
Absolutely, absolutely. How's this? Was it a very quick shooting schedule, right? It was short?
Like 6 weeks. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, pretty quick. We had to learn the dance numbers on our days off, so that was.
Yeah, you basically were filming a movie and rehearsing a show too.
Yeah, and on the week on our days off, we'd go and rehearse the musical numbers for the show we were supposed to be doing.
Right.
The movie, yeah.
How did your stage training, bring this when you were doing the play itself? You know, because you started as a comic.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, you know, it's stagecraft or something. I started I went to drama school. Sure. Then I became a comic.
Right.
So I kind of got sort of two strange but useful backgrounds. One is the how to hold a stage as a comic.
Absolutely.
On your own, and also the kind of the being committed to the part and trying to commit to the truth of what you're doing, as well as making people laugh. So.
All your characters that you're known for in the UK, they all have that. They were all so real. Alan Partridge and all these characters. How do you build your own characters when you create it from the ground up? I often look at people I know and find something that has some sort of integrity to it, or something that's different. Try and find something that it's very difficult. You've got to try and do something, show something to people that they go, oh, I've seen that before. Right.
Or in terms of, I know people like that.
Right.
Without them having seen other people do the same thing. So you're trying to show people something that's familiar but new.
Yeah.
And that kind of dichotomy is the tough thing.
The physicality and the voice of Dana, how did you build that up?
Well, I'm not really a method actor. I'm more kind of like a outside in.
Sure.
I have to look in the mirror and see something that's kind of interesting. And the hair was good. I talked to Andy. I had long hair at the time, which is how I played the part. But when you get long, it's very easy with theatrical long hair because you can flick it
and you use it so well in the film.
And throw it back, and sort of play with it, which is all helps with the character. That and also the clothes being, he wears a caftan, and we wanted to be unorthodox and a little sort of maverick.
Oh yeah.
And so those choices of clothes kind of all help that.
Hamlet 2? Doesn't everybody die at the end of the first one?
I have a device.
The time machine opened, revealing Hamlet and Jesus!
Good luck.
Thanks, Jesus.
You got my cell number?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of its unwholesome content, school cannot allow the exhibition of Hamlet 2.
You can't stop art.
You have Satan French kissing the President of the United States of America.
Cricket Feldstein, we have a First Amendment case on our hands. No one is shutting down this play.
You have no ID, your badge isn't visible, and you accidentally grazed my boob when you tried to walk past me.
What's really going on here?
Jesus is sexy to you, which leads us on to the musical interlude, Rock Me Sexy Jesus.
Vamos al infierno por esta madre.
I say the same thing. We feel very lucky.
Sure.
I mean, I feel a little spoiled in a way. We've had this great experience in a Broadway show, an off-Broadway show that became a hit,
true. Yeah.
And then a great experience on a film that actually was one of the most fun experiences that I've ever had, and it's a great film, and yeah.
What I love so much about the characters, and again, you're both stage actors and wonderful actors, everybody was so real in it. As outrageous as the situations in the film started to build, and you'd have these very quiet moments of despair or real emotional tumult. I think the scene where you guys first watch him get in front of that class, and you are rooting for him because you know what he's going to do. And tell me a little bit about the process of building these characters, these relationships.
I don't. Well, Andy was really good at it. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of how to word it, because it's really funny. These people have a very, very honest emotional arc, but they go so quickly from one place to another.
Absolutely.
There's moments where I just go from complete laughter to complete, despair.
Sure.
And I keep saying this, but it really is the truth. Is that if it really comes from an honest place, it will be funny. Because if you are just being as big as you want to be, people will maybe laugh, but it's a cheap laugh, and they'll never forgive you for it at the end of the thing.
And you won't go to the distance that this movie is asking you to go.
Absolutely.
Especially both your characters.
Is that something at Michael Mayer? That's something we learned from Michael Mayer at Spring Awakening. Is he'll say, if you want to go for that laugh, you'll get the laugh, but
they'll never forgive you.
Your audience
Isn't it all the same too? Stage, film. Now you're learning this. It's if you're committed and real, comedy, you could be playing a serial killer. You have to love the character, but if you're real, you can go anywhere with them. Certainly with the character of Dana.
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, the comedy's it's already in the script, so if you're just playing the moment as real as you can, then it's funny no matter, as long as it's real, it's funny.
The script is the material is too good to BS, the feelings.
Tell me about how you built your characters, your character, Rand.
I guess I built my character through some personal experiences, some people I've come across along the way. Just your everyday ambitious high school theater student, the golden boy of the class, who's just always, he's one of those guys that is just always kind of singing. He's always referencing some show, some movie.
We know a few of them in the city.
Yeah, exactly. It's so funny talking to someone like you because you're like, basically most. Well, what's great is that yes, we do play these roles, but I don't think anyone will be offended or say,
no, that's what I mean. I think it's inspiring.
Well, Epiphany is close to me because I feel like, in a way, that was me in high school. I grew up in Texas, and I had a very public high school drama class experience, a lot like her. Wow. Maybe I didn't experience as much of the racism as she did. Right. But I really
you got through it well if you did.
To her, and I felt she's ambitious and driven, and she's passionate about the stage and about her drama teacher, and I feel like I'm not the only one who had that experience. There's a lot of kids out there, in their high school drama class who have those big dreams, and that was me in high school.
How great to share this together too. How did you get involved? I mean, was it they came to see the show?
Andy came to see Spring Awakening, and I had an audition, and I got offered the part after that first audition, and then Skylar, I guess you'd gone in at one point, and then
same thing.
Yeah, it was. They took us both. Plus the
great.
Steve Coogan, Catherine Keener, David Arquette, and reintroducing Elizabeth Shue as Elizabeth Shue.
I'm actually a nurse now.
Oh my God, I'm freaking out!
Hamlet 2.
It was dramatic. It was visual.
It was stupid.
It was stupid, but it was also theater.
That's cool.